Good afternoon, sim race fans. Welcome back to round number 4 of the NORA Sim GT4 series. We are live from, well, I guess we could say a sunny Brazilian Grand Prix for round number 4. As always, joined in the booth by my cohort, partner in crime, whatever you want to call him, Nick Giles. Nick, how you doing this morning or afternoon?
Oh yeah, I'm doing great. Like you said, it's down here at the track known as either Interlagos, Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, the Sao Paulo Grand Prix circuit, whatever you want to call it. It's been hosting Formula One since 1973, and today it hosts the NORA GT4 Grand Prix series. I don't know what we're calling the end portion of that, but we have been calling all the races Grand Prix, so.
We're going by what do they call it? The seat of your pants?
Yeah.
That's what we're kind of going with what works.
Nothing sounds better than a plan B when you're flying by the seat of your pants.
Hey, sometimes for these broadcasts, we know we need plan C, D, E. We need extra plans built in.
Absolutely. So the big shocker right now is that if you follow the scoring there, Kimi Räikkönen is currently sitting in 29th, our point leader, and the winner the last 2 times out. Now we can inform you that this man has not actually put an actual lap in yet.
Yeah, his best lap is about the laps that some of these guys are running. Well, doing the same thing coming into the pits.
Yeah, we don't know what he's doing, but he has just been kind of, running out lap, run what you would assume is the first lap, and then as soon as he comes around to complete that first lap, he's on pit road. And it's just like, okay then, what are we doing here, Kimi? But
yeah, it's you almost think he's preparing his crew for those ever so important pit stops.
Well, we talked to his pit crew, and they were spot on at Watkins. They did pretty well at Sebring, and they were spot on at Watkins. Now, of course, we know we have issues with the Xfinity program.
Who, your program? Nah.
Yeah. Well, maybe not now. I don't know. It's a whole new team there.
This is true.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. Certainly, one of the confusing aspects is Niki Lauda, and I believe it's Kevin Magnussen. I think the same exact car.
Yeah. But, I know we had talked about that for Watkins Glen. So I wanted to make sure, and I think we said that they are running the same scheme. But yeah, it kind of confused me at first too. When I first loaded them up, I was like, is this supposed to be this way? You said yeah, so we're good. But as Jackie Hicks actually jumps Senna, I believe, to get into third. But looking at the rest of your top 5 in points, though, we noted Kimi hasn't actually put a lap in. Actually, he's on track right now, so we'll keep an eye on that one as we go through the rest of the top 5. But right now, sitting 30th out of 36. We just touched on Niki Lauda, who is in 2nd. Tanner Faust. Can I find old Tanner?
6th.
Oh, okay, P6. He is also on track. His teammate Brian O'Connor, I believe. No, not teammates. Sorry, not teammates. But down in 16th. And then I would argue, again, we talk about the preseason stuff and whatnot, but I would argue the favorite from the preseason races here, Mick Schumacher, is sitting 7th right now.
Yeah, certainly when it comes to the preseason events, this is the guy. But as we know, as it's come into the regular season, Kimi Räikkönen, 51 total laps led. The next highest is Jackie Hicks with 12.
Yeah, and I think, surprisingly, I know you covered Daytona. I think Mick arguably was in good contention for a win there, but the contact going to that final bus stop that cost him there. But other than that, Kimi, perfect on poles so far. Something you touched on before we went live. 2 wins, and with those wins has also 2 of the fastest lap bonus point. So, keep an eye on that as well. But oddly enough, too, your top 8 in points have been the only people to lead laps, which obviously, different than the NASCAR side. There is no cautions here, unless obviously we see the absolute dire need to throw one.
Yeah, unless there's absolute carnage.
But even with that being said, I don't think it would change everything too much. I think your fast guys are going to stay fast. As Danny Rick kind of gets a little nervous there as Kimi comes by.
And we're going to see if he actually puts a lap time in this time.
Yeah, if he doesn't put in a lap, we'll go ahead and roll so we can get our double header going. As after this, we head to, I believe, said Hotlanta for the truck race.
Absolutely. And that's going to be a fun one.
He's pitting again. Okay.
Well, he's keeping things, I would say, close to the best for qualifying.
Yeah, as our flagman gives us the, I forget what the NASCAR guys called that, but frantic wave, I guess we'll call it.
He's beating the meat.
Oh, well, that's one way to put it, yeah. We'll see. Again, unlike our asphalt, or not asphalt, NASCAR side, just the one lap for these guys.
Well, in fairness, our NASCAR guys also only do one lap when we come to a road course.
This is true. I know one thing we had actually touched on before too, which I'm not sure, don't think anybody would remember that comes back and watches these.
That's a fine-looking pole right there.
Yeah, we're gonna go. Let's see how this one looks actually. You can't. Oh, well.
Oh, you can see him pull out. Look at that! Right as he decided, I'm going to come out now and take that exit down pit road. It's really neat and unique pit road. Certainly going through the S's there on the racetrack, and then getting to do it as well through pit road. There's a beautiful Chevy Silverado just sitting off there as a safety car. Look at that. They got Chevy Silverados even down here in Brazil.
You never know. You need that safety truck.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I know like I said, I don't. Obviously we don't know who goes back and watches. I know I actually like going back and watching just to see what I can pick up on as a broadcaster. But we mentioned new drivers, no new drivers yet. But I was kind of looking at some of the guys' ratings and stuff, and I think we might discuss adding 2 to put in place of our 2 lowest guys that the owner has not.
Doesn't.
Yes.
Yep.
So potentially 2 new faces, which we can, like I said, we can always discuss that. But besides Kimi, 2 wins, the Lauda's 1, the 15-point lead as I mentioned pre-race ahead of Lauda and Faust. BMW as a whole has swept this series so far with 3 races, 3 wins, and leads by 21 points over Porsche in that manufacturer standings.
Absolutely, and certainly we don't have a clash in this series, but if we did, as of right now, it would feature only Kimi Räikkönen.
Let me see how this camera looks as Kimi heads into turn 1. Maybe it's a little early, but nonetheless.
It goes down into the S's, the hills. Kind of similar to the corkscrew at Laguna Seca, but a little less steep and a little bit longer set of corners. It's not as tightly compacted.
I'm going to try this little combination here too as he heads into this sweeper. As the scoreboard kind of cuts it off, but
there he comes through the second half of it.
We'll try TV2 again. One thing to note on too, as it didn't hold true in practice, but I know we had talked about, I believe it was at the Glen, we kind of touched on, maybe the manufacturer advantage for say. Seems like the BMW's more straight line speed as to where the Porsche will be better through this technical section.
Yeah.
I missed him right there, but.
Yep. I was going to say that was the section. And then we got this. He's going to make this right-hander, and then we go into a left. Down a little bit of a short shoot straight away. Essentially get this thing out nice and wide over the rumble strip out here. And then bring it back to the left over this rumble strip. Take it out wide. Get the tire off there. And full throttle all the way through to the finish line.
wait for the times to come in. You know, again, as I had just mentioned, Porsche, from all the Prix and stuff, had the advantage here. And I would say they have a lot more, I don't really know what the proper term would be, but it's Kimi Räikkönen right now, provisional pole. Niki Lauda, actually Mick Schumacher right now, way, way down, along with Brian O'Connor.
So it does look like, because it's just the one lap, Kimi is not going to get the pole for the first time this season. But that advantage we were talking about, where maybe the Porsches will have, we're wrong at this point. 36?
Final person to come through.
36th.
Yeah, so right now your top four. Lauda.
BMW.
Oh yeah, all BMWs.
BMW and BMW.
And then 5th to 11th, all Porsches, being Chad Reed, Colin McRae, Tanner Faust, Mick Schumacher, Brian O'Connor, Nick Boulay, and Juan Montoya.
And then it's BMW and BMW.
Yep. So that's how it's kind of mixed in, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, certainly the aspect of Kimi not having the pole for the first time, he's not going to have that immediate run down into turn one like he's used to having.
Well, one thing too, you know, I think the last time we were here for a test, Kimi did get the pole, and I think Mick was second or third. But
and BM to turn one, I believe it was.
Yeah, which kind of set the tone early, to say the least.
Well, I don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, as I say, I don't think we're going to see any Porsche manage that one this time. As actually, I didn't notice this, but Kimi actually does have the preferred line still going into one.
Yeah, the only Porsche that I could see having a shot at that would be the guy that rolls off from 5th, which I believe I said was Chad Reed. But real quick, we'll get this grid popped up. As it is Lauda, Räikkönen, I guess, well, technically your front row, but your top two. Senna and Ix, I believe, teammates, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd and 4th. Chad Reed, Colin McRae, and actually Tanner Faust, all teammates there. And then Mick Schumacher will roll off from 8th.
9th place sees Brian O'Connor roll off alongside Nick Boulay. Juan Pablo Montoya and James Hunt from 11th and 12th. 13th is Dixon. 14th is Fujiwara. 15th we see Alexander Rossi. And 16th, Jan Magnussen.
We got Dario Franchitti, Lord Voldemort, 17-18. 19th, Fernando Alonso. Ken Block, 20th. George Russell, 21st. And Michael Schumacher, 22nd. Lewis Hamilton, 23rd. Little battle there between Russell and Hamilton. And old Darth Vader, 24th.
Rolling off from 25th is Lando Norris. And we have Colin Braun in 26th. 27th is Ramsey Bolton. Mark Frosty Winterbottom in 28th. 29th is Max Verstappen. 30th is old Danny Rick. 31st, Kevin Magnussen. K-Mags. 32nd is Oscar Coulters.
33rd, Kevin Roy. 34th, Mike Roch. 35th, Hans Landa. And 36th, old Mr. Bikini Bottom himself.
So we know Kimi's going to have a task here on this start, considering that he has no friends up here at the front. And all three of the cars around him are teammates.
Yeah, so we're going to wait for the 5 red lights. There they are, and we're away. We'll see if Kimi can get the jump. We talked about the Porsche's got on him all the time. So it's not looking good for Kimi. He's going to duck into line, actually.
And he thinks about it, but you're correct. He's just going to duck in line and I guess now follow Niki Lauda. And all 4 BMWs make it through cleanly. And you said you thought the guy in 5th might have the best advantage, but it was actually Colin McRae and Mick Schumacher that got the best advantage there. That inside line was just a lot more powerful. Mick Schumacher up to 6th now.
Yeah, McRae up to 5th. Reed falls back to 7th. As we'll look, no actually real battles as of right now. Everybody kind of, as I say that, I believe it was Chad Reed.
Yep. You're being passed by Tanner Faust. Now he's being challenged again.
Brian O'Connor and Nick Boulay right there trying to follow Faust through. So, 36 laps. This guy's running, I believe we said 25% fuel load, so we actually don't have a number for that. But I believe it's been about 2 pit stops, I think.
Yeah, it's usually been about 2 pit stops every race.
So, we'll keep an eye, obviously, on that. But another thing, too, we mentioned the Porsches, which right now, again, is actually 5th to 12th now. As I believe Fujiwara got up in front of Montoya. We'll see if, Colin McRae and Mick can get in between this BMW party that is the top 4 right now, as Lauda looks to lead lap number 1.
And I think he will. The key here is going to be how close Kimi can get and use this toe to really make an attempt going into 1. He wants to get to the inside going into 1, so he has a good attempt there. But we're going to see. This is certainly probably the best and maybe only passing zone really on this track right now. He thought about it. That was a hard look there by Kimi, but certainly just kind of stayed in line and he's going to look to ride. This is the only, they're coming up to the only other, I think, passing zone. But we've seen many times when somebody takes it inside and tries to defend, they manage to basically, like we see back there with O'Connor, I believe it is. He's going to defend here, and they do exactly that. It's usually not really contact.
Oh.
Well, I believe he just caught Frosty.
So this will be our first DNF of the GT4, and it is.
And I believe he caught Frosty as well.
We will take a look.
Who I believe just towed.
And you are wrong.
Oh, no. It was one of my cars, though. Might have been Jan.
So we will go back and take a look. Let's see what Jan saw. Different drone camera here today, but
still world's fastest drone, just a little closer.
That's the first time we've seen that. Oh yeah, right rear gone.
There's the old Raditz wheel.
That's the first time we've seen, somebody spin out there to that extent.
Yeah, it's been a bit weird. And you can actually also kind of see there's a little bit of a gap forming between the Beamers and the Porsches.
You got the 3 Porsches right here, trying to hang on. Faust hang on to that train, and then you got O'Connor, now Boulay right here, along with Fujiwara and Montoya. So still 5th to 11th now, Porsches, and then James Hunt, the lone BMW in this little train right here.
Yep.
But that's what's hurting this group right here, though, is O'Connor goes defensive every time down here, and the front group, surprisingly, not going defensive.
Yeah, I don't think Kimi's really close enough going into the corner to really threaten Nikki on that move.
He did not do this because he towed just to be safe. We're back, though.
We'll follow along with Nikki, and yeah, it's a really technical circuit, so you have to be able to stick close and really kind of just ride behind the guy through this area of the track. Be as close as you can, essentially, when you get to this front stretch here to try to make a move. But certainly, this is very Formula One-esque, and there's not going to be a lot of passing here.
One thing, we obviously touched on it again, pre-race, and we'll watch obviously as the race goes on, but more of that BMW straight line speed, I think you see it, maybe not as directly as we would assume, but, it seems like as soon as they hit the straightaway section, and even, I believe it would be after the S is coming up here, they just gap the Porsches, but as soon as they get to the more technical section, the Porsches kind of close that gap again, and it's kind of just like an accordion. The Porsches close it in, BMWs pull it back, to the little gap that they have. As you just saw it right here. As soon as they hit the straightaway again, it was starting to get that gap widened out.
Absolutely, and I think if a Porsche was able to get the lead, I don't think that the Beamers would really be able to get around them. I think too much of a good defensive line by the Porsches would allow them to hold on, but certainly it's got to be they got to get around them before then. And as far as we know, the only chance that's going to happen is pit stops.
Yeah, it's old SpongeBob's just now coming through the S's, but really no battles. I mean, I would say this is different than what we've seen all preseason too. I mean, we would see at least defensive, which we saw from O'Connor, as they've dropped 4 seconds off this lead pack, but again, you could be right as far as Kimi not being quote unquote there to make that move, but I, figured Lauda would at least show defensive early. But through the first 4 circuits, he has held his line and not letting Kimi rattle him.
Yeah, as long as the guy behind you isn't really close enough to make the move, there is no point in sacrificing your own line to try and go defensive.
And I will say, I'm actually surprised the Porsches, even McRae, him and Mick got the best start, as Reed
was out.
Oh, correct. I was gonna say, but yeah, so Reed obviously the worst start, but I figured they would have kind of made more of a push, and it seems like they just kind of stalled out and more or less just kind of riding at this point.
Well, I think the issue is that they don't really have the straight line speed to contend with the Beamers, and the technical section around here isn't really wide enough to really make any passes. So they kind of run into that problem where they're stuck behind the guy in front of them, essentially, because of the straightaway. And then even though they are faster through the technical section, they just can't get around them in that area. So.
I think you're right. I think they would need, as strange as it is to say, a longer technical section. I think it's kind of short. I mean, it's not really short, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. As we have a defensive move here from Lord Voldemort, as Rossi looks to go around the outside.
He's not going to be able to get it done. He needed to be able to stick around him a little bit better and longer on the outside to set up. That's about your only chance at making a pass through that section, is to try to set up in that first right-hander, to set yourself up on the outside to get the inside going into the next corner. Because if you can do that and you can hold steady, then you usually will be able to get that position.
This is our first time using the TV3 cameras. I'll say I think these are very nice as well. Check back up front, Lauda.
And these two are starting to gap a little bit over Senna.
Yeah,
Hometown boy.
38 sixes from these two, 8s from Senna and Ix, and actually McRae and Mick both hit 6s as well.
So they're probably now being held up by Senna and Ix.
She actually had a pass from Montoya on Boulay, as Hunt's going to follow through as well. So Boulay goes from 10th to 12th, as now Montoya's going to go defensive on Hunt.
And this could go very bad for both of them. Or at least one of them.
No contact yet. Hunt goes off the track, but
and
keeps it rolling.
Yep. And that's what we're used to seeing. That was the move that when we were here doing the practice race, Kimi would make that same decision to go to the outside. Every time they got into this corner and Mick Schumacher would defend that corner the same way every time. And it was just a constant every lap. Kimi goes wide. Kimi goes wide. Kimi goes wide.
And it's still early. I mean, they got 30 laps, and like you said, arguably 2 pit stops incoming. When we will wait to see. But I'm actually surprised though. Nikki and Kimi hitting 6, like I said, Senna and Ix 8s, but McRae and Mick, granted high 6s, but still hitting the 6s. It looks like McRae's actually closing into the back of Ix right now.
Yeah, and boy, would the crowd go wild if Senna could pull this off, for sure. I know. But I don't know. I don't know if he doesn't have the car, if there's just something not there. I don't know, because it definitely seems like he's just slower than Kimi and Nikki.
It's actually, so Nikki just hit an 842, Kimi a 760. Actually, Senna a 745, but McRae a 677. Actually, Faust a 645 was fastest that lap out of that front 7.
Yeah, he's caught up to them. I think he was a little bit further behind.
Yeah, they're all still within 2.5 seconds.
Dixon's not going to go defensive against Rossi, and Rossi's going to go out wide. Actually holds on better than I think I've seen anybody hold on through there. Now he's going to be set up to maybe take this position, or hold on to his position through this section.
It's Ken Block right there, and then Frank Keedy biting his chops to get through, as he will follow through.
And that's actually going to open up the door for Darth Vader as well.
I believe it'd be, yeah, have Michael Schumacher with his teammate Fernando Alonso, trying to, you know, follow suit and get their way through, but they will not.
Now, once they got to that left-hander, Block was on the preferred line there, and he was going to be able to clear him.
So this is actually a battle. If Braun can get up here, this will be a battle for, I believe, 2 dev points as well that we'll keep an eye on.
It is still Niki Lauda over Kimi Räikkönen. Really, the front 7 haven't changed. Really, I mean, since the drop of the green flag. I think Faust maybe moved up a spot. I can't remember for sure. But for the most part, yeah, nobody up here has really changed positions.
Yeah, and you know, I touched on McRae hitting fast laps. He steadied out basically a couple hundredths faster than the leaders. But actually, X, as you see right there, with the 644, was the fastest out of this front 7.
Yeah, and it looks like now Senna's starting to close back up a little bit even.
Which I would imagine they've got to be close to pit stops. I forget what our windows have been at the other tracks, but I know this is obviously, I think, our shortest track we've been on so far, so might be able to go a little bit longer.
I was going to say, Daytona was about 3.5 miles. Sebring was 3 something. I think the Glen was even 3 something. At least the boot version is. This is 2.6, so yeah, this is definitely one of the shorter ones. I know it's been roughly like 11 to 12 to 13 laps, so maybe I'd say the window probably 12 to 15, somewhere in there, and I think he'll be in.
So even then, we're only like four or so laps away. Because, you know, even with, you know, we're talking about the technical section as opposed to the straightaways, but even with that, the front group has stayed within. It's fluctuated obviously from 2.5 to 2.7, but for the most part, right around 2.5 seconds.
Now, what I do have to find interesting is out of the whole field, you know, we've only had 2 winners all season, and they both happen to be running first and second. So, will we see Niki Lauda join 2 wins? The 2-win club with Kimi, or will Kimi be the first guy to get to 3 wins? Certainly dominating force right now, whether it be consistency or just the fact that he's winning. I mean, you got to give credit. He didn't get the pole today, but still, another second place starting spot. This man has not started off the first row of the grid yet.
Yeah, and you know, much like we talked about, more so I guess the Xfinity stuff, Schumacher makes a pass on Vader and brings Block with him.
And most likely also Alonso.
Yeah, well, it's like you said a couple laps ago, though, he'll have the inside in this next corner if he can kind of hold on. He's actually almost pulled back to Schumacher.
Yeah, he actually held on really well, and in fact, Alonso now has the possibility to get Block here, but this is where that technical section kind of keeps flipping back in on itself, and it makes for some really interesting moments. Because
Braun just made an aggressive move on
Russell.
I thought George Russell made the move on Braun.
Yeah.
Lando is going to get aggressive on Lewis.
That's an interesting move, and he gets it done.
So we actually have a battle.
Ayrton Senna actually lost the spot to Jackie Ickx and is now looking to possibly end up losing multiple spots here, as McRae is going to go defensive. So what happened here? I think Ickx got a great run through. Yeah. And we actually, I think, might be having a battle for the lead, too. Oh, no, never mind. I think the ticker was just being stupid.
Got those inside. McRae finally was close enough to capitalize.
And then McRae would go defensive, and I'm wondering what happened there. Oh, well, it looks like everybody made it through fine. He's still going defensive.
This separated that front pack.
Yeah, you can kind of see. Yeah, there's a bit more of a gap between Ickx and Räikkönen now than there was.
So, you know, I pointed out the top 7 had mainly stayed within 2.5 seconds. Right now, that gap from first to seventh is now 4 seconds, and now first to fourth is 2.5.
Yeah, so you can kind of see what battling does, and then like we were saying, McRae went defensive into that second left-hand corner down that at the end of that straightaway, and you could just see when you go defensive, you really start cutting off your own time. And that's why I said, for Lauda, as long as Kimi is not really challenging him or getting close enough to it, there is no reason to move off your line and get defensive. As I think Russell got aggressive again on Frosty this time.
I think I'm pretty sure you're right. Vader's going to go defensive. It will pay off for now.
Yep.
I saw a battle up here, so Boulay lost a spot to Hunt.
So there's contact. Every little bit of it between Montoya and whoever that is in front of him.
Fujiwara.
Fujiwara, yep. So they had a little bit of contact there.
So Connor by himself now these four have tightened back up and actually aren't catching the lead tree on. Technically just duo right now. Oh, X is actually kind of closed in a little bit as well. Here's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, what is going to happen with this? They're going to catch him at the worst time, and it's going to allow X to get around.
Oh, Kimi just boxed himself in. Oh, he thinks better of it this time.
Oh, my word. So we have a new leader, and it is caused by SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, make it take advantage.
Yeah, he's going to send that thing up the inside of Ayrton Senna, and Tanner Faust is going to look to take advantage as well, and he might be able to get this done. Well, he's going to hit the brakes there and back out of it. But wow, what an interesting turn of events, as your new leader is now Jackie X.
What this did, though, now, it's like I had mentioned, it was just your top four basically within that 2.5 range. It has now put your top five within the 2.5 range and closed the top four back up tremendously.
And Kimi is probably cussing his head off on the radio.
More than likely, yes.
Knowing that man, it's absolutely.
Next one would be Danny Rick, and then Kevin Roy, and even Londa and Roch aren't too far ahead.
Yeah, and that'll be much later, though. Certainly, I think that they might even at risk catch SpongeBob again before the end of this thing.
Yeah, 12 laps. So yeah, might almost 2 more times.
I was going to say, this might catch them again on the final lap, which could be very, very intriguing. But I think we are also now into that pit stop window possibly. I think it just opened. 12 laps, I think, was the earliest I said that maybe we could see somebody.
We'll keep an eye.
It's going to be about right here. They're going to have their option.
Yeah, that's a no for now.
No takers, yep.
So we'll start lap 13 on this stint.
And we know that the what's kind of been, a deciding factor in quite a few races been the pit stops. We could see Jackie X or Niki Lauda go from first and second all the way back to seventh with just a bad pit stop, and the same for Kimi. Or we can see Mick go to first with an incredible pit stop. I don't think you're going to see Brian O'Connor jump all the way up into this front group just because it's too much of a gap. I can't see all 7 of the front guys having horrible pit stops.
Actually, Voldemort is the first to hit pit road.
Interesting.
So I would argue with that, though. Your window is correct. It opens around lap 12.
Yep.
We'll see. I forget how long the pit stops actually are for GT4, so we'll see how long
quite a bit.
He's sitting.
They are quite a moment.
Saw a battle here. I think Lando. These guys have been going back and forth for a few laps now. But
there's K-Mags.
Well, Connor basically 2 seconds off the lead lap times. I know obviously doesn't have the draft and doesn't have the pull, but Ix is running 38.8s and he ran at 40 point. Well, as you see it at 40.9. So first pit stop complete, 31.6 for Voldemort.
And we'll have to see if anybody's taking this time. I think they're coming around now.
We got one.
Yes, it was Niki Lauda in. We're going to see how that pays off.
He was like out of fuel or something because he was like way off the pace. But
no, he's just SpongeBob.
O'Connor comes in. Bourgeois is in. Montoya
So I'm going
in.
to expect to see the rest of the group next time by.
Yep. So we got 4 in here. Lauda from your lead pack, and we mentioned O'Connor. And then he also brings in Montoya and Fujiwara and Rossi in as well.
Now, what would concern me is if that lap 12 decision was based on how much fuel he had left, and if he couldn't, by Voldemort, if he couldn't go any further, that means he's burning through a lot of fuel. I'd be a bit concerned if I was him, knowing that you would essentially be running on fumes at the end. You have to pit every 12 laps. So
Lauda 29.2.
Wow. And what was Voldemort?
31.6. But here's a big gainer for Fujiwara. You can see it. He was nowhere in the picture really for O'Connor. 29.6 pit stop to O'Connor's 32.8, and it's closed the gap right up to him.
Absolutely.
So here we go. This will be the moment of truth. So right now your lead pack is 6. Spread out 6, but still 6.
Yep. And we're going to see. This is going to be right here. This is the decision line. Going to be to the left of it to make pit road, and it's going to be
everybody.
Everybody. Yep.
So now we wait and see
the comparison between those guys and Niki Lauda, because I believe these guys are all going to pit. So we'll have to see who comes off first.
So it looks like the max is about 14 laps. Yeah, everybody's coming in. Okay.
I was going to say, I saw Kimmy go to first. Just wondering what that was, but he's got the further up pit stall, I forgot. Who's going to jump first? And also, the question again is, where is Niki Lauda in all this? Lewis Hamilton actually stayed out. Yep. So Ix is going to get out first. Tanner Faust. Oh my god.
And there's SpongeBob again, I think. And here comes Ix.
And Niki Lauda is going to be jumped by Tanner Faust, I believe. Possibly.
So right now it's Ix. Stays ahead of Lauda. You got Faust and then Mick. And Kimmy way back here now.
Absolutely. So
35.7.
Pit crew being letdowns once more. They have one more shot in this race, so we'll see what they can do.
McRae with a 36 even.
Yeah, he didn't. He lost a good bit there too, because he was the lead Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's the last car of this group. So
33 for Senna, Raikkonen a 35.7, Mick even a 31.5. But Faust fastest out of this front group with a 28.6. This battle's starting to heat up, and they're going to get around SpongeBob again, it looks like.
Yeah, we kind of forgot that they would have to deal with SpongeBob because of the pit stops. And this is going to be huge because you can see Niki Lauda is going to get really aggressive and use SpongeBob as a pick to get around Jackie Ix and take the lead back. Well, provisional lead. Lewis Hamilton.
Kimmy catches SpongeBob here. Lewis is in.
Yep.
He's actually not catching him as fast as I thought he would. This will make turn 1 very interesting for Kimmy, though.
Yep. And that whole SS section, because he is not going to catch him before then.
Oh!
I'm not surprised by this.
That's the first time we've seen that, I think, though.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Oof. That is quite a bit of front end damage.
That is. a first for sure that I have seen.
Well, my assumption is that Kimi is going to try and run that corner the way he does, and he is not expecting SpongeBob to be that slow going into the corner.
You can see the damage already, though. As Senna gets by, McRae now looking to take advantage. The only positive, somewhat, is that he's still driving.
Yep. And that he has a 15-point lead over second place in the points, but it's not looking good for that either.
Yeah, because I think, well, really the only person that would gain would be the winner, because it's what, 25 and then what, 10?
Yep. No,
Yeah.
25 and then 18.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more widespread. Okay, so then I stand corrected then.
No. There's a good gain there. But I would not be surprised to see Kimi on pit road right here.
So SpongeBob going that slow is actually on that 15 in this run, but we'll see what Kimi does here. I would agree. I would think see him on pit road here, but he's going to stay out. McRae's going to try and take advantage.
And is going to take advantage.
Kimi will get aggressive. We know that.
Oh, yeah. That old finish mentality.
So we'll keep an eye on that one, though, because that's, even back to O'Connor, 7.6 seconds, but obviously you see now Boulay, Fujiwara, and then Hunt even 2.5 back. So, if he loses, that was almost bad. But if he loses more time, it's obviously just going to hurt him more and more the longer he stays out on that damage.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's beneficial to come in at this point and then have to make another pit stop later. I think he's going to try and run it as far as he can, get whatever damage pick, or run it until his next scheduled pit stop, and then get whatever damage he can fix. And I think that is probably the better decision, because I think he should be able to hold on to the top 10 and get points that way. And that's certainly the key.
This Max just went around the outside of Lewis.
Any points is a better day than no points.
Does he have the best lap point today? He does not. Right now, that is actually Nicky Lauda with a 38.607.
So as of right now, Nicky Lauda is scoring top points, max points.
Yeah, max points. As these guys have left Senna and obviously Raikkonen and McRae, and O'Connor's gaining as well, as that gap's down to 5.3. Yeah, Kimi 40.2, McRae a 41.4 to O'Connor's 39.2. But even the leaders, Lauda 38.6, biggest lead of the day, 1.5, to Ix's 38.8, Fast 39.0, and then Mick a 38.9. So these top four definitely, taking advantage of some rather decent pit stops, we'll call them. Yeah, then unfortunate circumstances from Kimi.
Yep. Now, what is so good for Kimi is that I believe the 6th place finish is worth 8 points. If I'm correct.
Maybe. Actually, not certain on that one. You're the road guy here. You're supposed to know this.
Yeah. No, I don't remember F1 points that often.
I'm a road guy, but
6th place is 8 points, yes. That was correct.
And McRae still hasn't been able to close back in. He's still 1.5 behind him.
So, that's good news if Kimi can hold on to where he's at, because that's now essentially giving him the guarantee that he's going to hold on to the points lead, even if Lauda scores 26.
Wow. Lap 4, they're on lap 4 of the stint. Mm-hmm. So Lauda 38.7, still not his best lap. Jackie X said, I'm coming for that bonus point and the lead, as he just goes 38.517.
Does there have to do with previous lap?
Should be SpongeBob again, I believe.
I'm sorry, didn't we just deal with him like 2 laps ago?
He just pitted fresh off pit road.
Oh, good lord, and he's still that slow.
I think he's actually letting them by, as funny as that sounds. As funny as that sounds for SpongeBob, I think he was actually letting them by.
I believe he was. I would now be, if I'm Ayrton Senna, concerned.
Actually, as I said that a little bit ago, McRae has closed into Kimmy, as we just saw Senna getting held up.
Yep. He does get around
This is bad for
SpongeBob.
Kimmy.
Yeah, this is not what Kimmy wants to see again.
Yep,
So he's
right on
going
the
to get
exit.
around him. Hopefully a lot sooner than he did last time. He's actually going to just get held up behind him for the 3rd time this race.
Not getting held up. Now he is. Say he wasn't getting held up yet, but McRae's gonna go 3.
Going to force the issue.
He's backed up.
Okay. That would have been very, very bad. But it's now going to pay off for McRae, because he's going to be able to look to the inside of Kimmy here. Now Kimmy has obviously got the outside line. He's going to have the inside line here.
Whoa!
And McRae decides to do a little bit of lawn mowing.
We appreciate that. I know the track workers will as well. They don't have to cut that section now. Save them, about a minute of daylight.
Well, it's not as many hours getting put on the John Deere. So,
Keeps the mileage low, price value high.
Absolutely.
But that actually surprised me. I didn't think we would see a faster lap. As real quick, I will check this. Yeah, the track's just going to get hotter. We started in the morning, but the track's gone up already 3 degrees. So I didn't expect quicker lap times, but as, X just shows, hey, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Here's a low 5 and almost a full 10th faster than everybody else.
Absolutely. So it's going to be probably very, I would say, intriguing bit of action to the end, as they're actually, I think, catching up to Danny Rick now.
Yeah, in the back of the field.
Yeah.
There's Londa and Roy, and then Roch not too far ahead, so.
It's no longer catching Danny Rick. Lauda is pretty much there.
So, they always say, at least in real racing, the leader sometimes has the hardest job to get around the lappers, and I think you're seeing that right now.
Yep.
So we'll watch the gap real quick. 1.85 was the last.
And it did look like Danny Rick did move over. He did. It just took a moment for him to decide to do it.
Still,
we'll see if he does
lost.
it for. Yeah, I was gonna say we'll see if he does it for Jackie Hicks too. It's a little bit easier to move over, I think, on a road course than it is as he does.
Wide. Faust is there now.
And here comes Mick as well, coming through like a rocket ship on that one.
Danny hits the brakes, lets him by, holds him up a little bit, but could have always been worse.
Yeah, just having that hard line on the outside didn't help really.
This next one would be Hans Landa. But now we have a fight for second.
So this battle's on, and certainly, like we said, there's still going to be another set of pit stops, more than likely.
This says lap 7. I forgot Loud actually was a lap earlier, so he's coming to start lap 8 on this stint. Everybody else coming to start lap 7.
And this is going to be an interesting thing, because we saw the slower car cause massive front end damage to Kimi Räikkönen, and is everything going to be okay here? Yes. So Landa is not a problem so much under braking for Niki Lauda. However, he does get stuck behind him through the S's. And you can see how much time is being gained by Jackie Hicks and Tanner Faust. They closed immensely because of that.
That gap down to 1.4. Probably almost a second lost right there, I think.
Now, what Nikki's going to hope is that Jackie Hicks and Tanner get stuck behind Hans Landa through this section. But I think Landa might let them go, kind of similar to the way we saw Danny Rick do it as well.
We'll see. As McRae and Raikkonen are battling, but I want to kind of see what happens here. So they go to the inside. Faust gets to the inside. Mick's going to try it again. And he'll clear this time. Look at the time gain.
Yeah, he does it a lot better, yeah.
So real quick, we'll go back and check this battle as we catch Kimi going defensive. And McRae can't hold it, so that'll be good for Kimi to make it back to this left-hander.
Absolutely. So like I said, I think his goal is to get to the end of this group stage and just get the end of this pit cycle, and then he'll get the damage fixed when he comes in the pit road. And I think that's a lot less time spent on pit road. Certainly in this type of racing, less time on pit road is more important.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at the interval, Mick closer to Faust than Faust is to Ix right now. And as I said, that jumped to about being even, but
Niki Lauda is once again getting held up going through the S's.
The only benefit from here is after Kevin, Roch is a little bit further ahead, so.
Is Ix going to be able to get around Roy?
Oh, he's
okay, that's interesting. That was an interesting decision, yeah. I think Roy let him by, but it was just an interesting way of letting him by.
So here's something I want to watch again. It seems like these four guys have caught the lappers in this section of the track every time.
And they're going to do so once more.
Actually, they might not get him yet. So this will be interesting too, is we haven't seen any passing, as far as I can remember, in these next couple sections. Actually, as I said, Roch was a little further ahead. He is not that quick.
Yeah, no, he is not that far ahead.
As McRae has actually completed the pass on Raikkonen now, so we missed that one. But they've actually pulled back away from O'Connor's. That gap's up to 6 seconds now, so.
Yeah, that's certainly what Kimi wants to see, is that gap increase and have a little bit of space there. Dropping back to 7th, he still gets 6 points. I think that still guarantees that even with max points from Lauda, that he would hold on to the top spot.
Right now, he's not max points because Ix has fastest lap.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mick's going to get the quote-unquote shaft here on this one.
He's going to get aggressive.
How aggressive does Faust get here as well? Try and hold it around the outside. That answers my question. He does not.
Well, he gets in line because he knew what was coming behind him. And if he stayed on that high line for too long, it was going to be over for him having third.
So we see Roch up ahead. I want to see where Oscar is. He's actually not that far ahead of Mike. So the pit window's going to open here in about a lap or two. But I would say, we're actually Ramsey's a good bit ahead. So I would say Oscar may be the last one to get lapped on pit stops. But I would say we're.
And something to note, I just mentioned it might be over for Tanner Faust in third. It is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mick Schumacher has gotten around somehow.
No, I think we found it.
Ix went defensive, and we get that little bit of a bump, and boom, doors open. Mick says, "I'll fill that. Thank you very much."
It's a good catch there.
Yep.
So here's another one. I believe it's Roch this time. Has Lauda kind of maintaining that 2.7 second gap.
Now it's going to be interesting. We know Lauda pitted not on the first lap of the pit window, but the second lap of the pit window, and really follows suit this time. Maybe he pits a lap earlier to avoid lap traffic. And the answer is no on that one.
Well, I mean, we've also noticed the AI are not that bright when it comes to that kind of strategy.
No, that is also true.
I.e., Roddy Burns pitting with 5 to go, dominating the truck race last week.
Yes, things happen that we have no explanation for. As we found out why O'Connor is losing time to Kimi Raikkonen. Oh my god.
As Boulay and Fujiwara say, "Thank you, sir," as actually Kimi's in the pits.
So, pit window's open. he made it to the pit window. He's going to pit now.
You gotta wonder though, is some of that damage gonna get fixed?
It's kind of looking like they're playing with the hood.
He's actually. I think I see it.
It looked
on
like
the
it
left
for a
side.
second. Yeah, it looked like it for a second.
So we'll keep an eye on the pit time here.
The pit timer, yeah.
But the thing about the road racing, he's only dropped one outside the top 20, but these guys are, all that's actually Lando's in early as well. Because there are 2 guys coming in kind of early, but as Lauda finally gets by Roch, look at the gap, 2 seconds down to 1 just from that little. I guess I want to say the infield, but it's not the infield. But as Raikkonen did not get the damage fixed all the way, 32.7, so he got some fixed, but 26th right now.
I think after seeing that he was, or the pit crew, informed him, hey, whatever happened there, we're still 7th, and you're pulling away. We're just gonna pit and take a normal pit stop here.
Rut-row. 11 to go. Everybody's coming in.
Oh, they can make it from here. We know that.
That's true, actually. You're right. So we'll watch the pit battle.
I was say they may have only went 11 laps or so. I'm not sure, but they can make it because they went 13 on the first stage or the first cycle.
So we would imagine. That's the wrong camera. Did not want that one yet.
Hunt takes the lead as he stays out.
Yeah, he does. He's on lap 11, but everybody else coming in as of right now.
And who's going to be the first one out? That's the question. And it's going to be Lauda and Ix first, second. Where is Mick third? And look at Tanner with a horrible pit stop, essentially. Senna doesn't have a great one. I mean, certainly horrible in the sense that Tanner was right behind Mick, pretty much. And now it's the question of where does Kimi cycle through? I believe he beats out O'Connor.
He does beat out O'Connor.
Yep, he is going to be behind McRae, so going to be about right where he was, but it does look like he lost some time maybe to O'Connor. But certainly the difference here, all of these guys, and we never bring it up really, all of these guys as they come out are on cold tires. So the advantage that Kimi has right now is that his tires are already heated up over these guys. So you try and make any passes you can before these guys get their tires heated.
So we had one.
So yeah. Frosty
about 8 guys stay out. James Hunt was the first one. So I'd assume he comes in here, which he will.
He is.
Saddlehand lead back to Lauda, 1.6 over Ix. The next one would be Frosty as Faust makes his way by.
Did he make his way by, or is he under challenge on his cold tires?
I think he passed it because I thought it said Frosty was up to 5th. He's going to stay out. Lewis and Max are going to stay out as well.
And it's McRae and
Oscar is way back there, so we won't look at that one yet.
Nope. Hunt is there. Okay, so now Kimi is back into the points.
Yep, it's Hunt 28.8. O'Connor's going to get by. So Kimi actually right now 10th, but 3 people ahead of him still have to pit, so that'll actually keep him 7th.
7th, yeah, put him right back where he was. As Frosty, man, if he didn't have to pit, he's going to town on Tanner Faust.
Man, kind of a surprise move here.
I hadn't seen really anybody go to the outside and make it work that well through that set of corners. And Tanner's got to be screaming now at the fact that Frosty's putting up as much of a fight, because Tanner's goal isn't to deal with Frosty. He's got to try and run back down with Schumacher.
So out of your presumed top 10, once those 3 pit, the only driver under a 30-second stop was O'Connor, 29.4.
Wow. So that explains why he caught Kimi a little bit.
Even Lauda was a 30.3, Ix a 30 flat, Mick a 32 flat, Faust 35 flat, and then Frost hasn't pitted. So Senna would obviously be 5th, and he was a 32.9. So McRae 33.1. Kimmy 32.7. So I would argue they actually didn't really do any damage repair as far as the actual hood's concerned.
Probably not. They probably just said, screw it, send him back out. He's holding on well enough.
Looking at these lap times, Lauda 39.9, Ix 39.8, and Mick a 40.3. So Mick not gaining like he needs to coming to the closing stages of this race.
But certainly a good day for Mick Schumacher. He hasn't had a lot of them.
As these guys have all stayed out once again.
I'm intrigued by this. Is Kimmy, I think, is closing on McRae.
Yep, 38.9 to McRae's 39.9.
So maybe they didn't get damage fixed, but maybe there was something that was slowing them down that last time that they got fixed.
Anything's possible. So do we have any more lappers ahead? I think I hear Danny Rick again.
It's a good bit of distance, I think. Yeah. It's
So
almost a whole specter there.
Max, what did you do?
Lost 2 spots.
I went defensive. Went defensive and it bit him.
Yep, well, you know, fresh tires, certainly the way to go there.
It's actually, yeah, tires for sure. That's the first time I see somebody go on the outside there.
Mm-hmm. It worked for both of them, but you could see how much it's helped Kimi Räikkönen as he is on the bumper of Colin McRae. I believe they were dealing with lap traffic, so we might see Kimi getting the free pass.
So there's lap
Frosty,
13, he comes in. Lewis stays out. So we'll start lap 13 and then comes Max.
And there's Kimi making a pass. We're trying to, and now it's going to be the other way around because they're dealing with
Mike Roch.
Mike Roch, and that's going to hurt there. Kimi gets stuck behind him going through the S's. Well, he actually manages to get around him, so there you go.
The only benefit is O'Connor's 5 seconds back.
Yeah, they didn't have to worry about that. It's certainly the battle between Kimi and McRae. Kimi, once the 8 point, knows how much more important that's going to be.
Nothing up front really happening. Still about 1.5. Mick's still losing time to 3.3 back now. Or sorry, 5 seconds back from the leader.
Well, I think I might be wrong. If Mickey is 15 points back and gets 25, Kimi only gets 6. Nikki gains 19. Yeah.
If everything
so
holds.
Nikki would take, yeah, if everything holds, so Nikki would take the lead.
So they're definitely catching Kimi. Or Danny Rick, sorry.
So even Kimi finishing in 6th means he's probably going to lose the point lead.
I forgot he hadn't pitted yet, so that does not matter. Oh, SpongeBob.
They are going to have to deal with that again.
Yeah, they're still...
Yeah, SpongeBob is slow enough that they're going to have to deal with him. Ramsey, I don't know about, but SpongeBob, absolutely.
42-0 for Ramsey. They're running 38.7s.
What is SpongeBob running? 48.5.
Yeah.
He's not just almost a second off the pace. He is almost 10 seconds off the pace.
Well,
there's got to be a minimum speed rule here, right?
If there is, I haven't read it.
Well, I don't know that the FIA would approve of somebody being that slow. I don't even think Williams was that slow the last couple of years in Formula One, and they were slow. But like you said, we might see some guys come and go. Certainly, the advantage that we have with GT is The only limit we have on how many cars we could have is the iRacing limit, which is 60. So if we wanted to, we can put 60 cars on the grid. We got a little bit of a battle there.
This would be Ken Block, George Russell, and I mentioned it pre-race. They kind of started nose to tail. George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, going at it. Let's see,
Absolutely.
38.7, 38.6, and another 39.1 for Mick. So not looking good for old Mick to kind of like as we expected, get that first win for Porsche.
Yeah, I thought that this might be his best chance. Certainly, Imola for our next race is much more straightaways and high speed centered. I would assume that's going to be a heavy BMW track. So this is not looking good for Porsche this season.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get them the training and try and get the Porsches to maybe put some more backing into the drivers.
Yeah. We might see some new drivers for sure. Certainly, we know that in Formula One, certain companies own more than one race team.
This is true, actually.
So, technically, Ferrari has a stake in Alfa Romeo. So, there's that. And you got Mercedes with their stake in. Basically, a lot of the teams have secondary teams. So, just kind of shutting the stage here for something. Maybe.
Yeah, it's like the development teams.
Exactly. Although in this particular case, what might end up happening is the development team is actually better than the majority of the non-development team.
Yeah.
So.
Because I believe the gap up front's actually closed to 1.3, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know that Ick is going to be able to get around Lauda. I think he could maybe catch him, but it's going to be hard to pass. Unless there is a lapper in front of them. And I'm pretty sure we know of one.
It's going to be close,
not him.
like you said.
Oh, no, it's not him. It's the other one that should be in front of them.
Ah. No, not yet. He's on the front stretch.
Oh, he must have pitted.
Yeah, he just did. Zero laps, yep.
Okay. Never mind. And they don't have to deal with him. I don't think they're going to catch him in 5 laps. Now, it's going to be close with Bolton, yeah.
After that, like I said, that'll be it, though. Unless something happens drastic to K-Mag or Max.
No.
Yeah, Mick just falling further and further back. Senna starting to actually somewhat reel in Faust. It's Kimmy all over the back of McRae. So I will say I'm surprised with that damage. For one, that he's able to keep up, but two, that he did not pull off.
I can say that I'm happy that he hasn't, but yeah.
There's 2/10, 38.6. And I will say Mick's consistent. I don't know if it's the smoothness, kind of saving the tires, or what's going on there, but I will say he's been consistent. 39.1, 39.2 is basically this entire run. But when the guys are trying to chase are hitting 38.8, 38.6, 38.5, that range, you're just kind of digging yourself a hole, especially with only 4 to go and no more pit stops.
Yeah, I think it's over for him getting any higher up the podium, but hey, bottom step of the podium, still on it, and as I say, I don't think he's really had that great of a season so far.
No, Daytona was his best run, I think.
Yeah, and he finished second, and I'll get you that answer. He finished 5th at Daytona.
Yep.
4th at Sebring.
Sorry.
And 6th at the Glen. But this will still be his best finish this season. So.
That's right, because I made the joke that he's finished 4, 5, 6. So this will even add to that, because now he'll be 3rd.
3rd. So by about round 6, he should have a win.
We hope. Or if it starts going the other way.
Yeah, let's see. If you're Mick, you don't want it to go the other way.
But I mean, I think I could say too. We've seen the same thing. Maybe not as late. You know, he did grab the win in Kentucky last week, but I mean, as far as me, I expected Harvick to dominate Xfinity, and you even mentioned it too with me at Daytona. You know, he won, and we were like, oh well, this is trouble for everybody else. You know, he's pretty much going to lock it up at this point. But it's
Meanwhile,
been
he
the
has now
exact
won
opposite.
the second race.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. We expected one or if not a sweep to this point so far.
Didn't he also? Well, I didn't from Sebring. I expected him to run well at Homestead, where he finished second, and then he won at Kentucky. So it's going kind of a bit accurate for what I expected from Harvick.
Well, yeah. I was saying more so on the actual win column per se, but yeah, you're right as far as overall performance, though.
Yeah, I didn't really expect him to win Sebring. That's a difficult task there. And even then, I should point out, Harvick hasn't finished worse than second in the Xfinity Series.
He finished second at Sebring, too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a reason he's the points leader.
Oh, well. And to answer your question, these guys are going to catch Ramsey's. They're coming to 2 to go. And as you see right there, they are coming.
Yeah, so this is going to play a factor into this. I don't think it's going to help Mick out much. No, I can't see them, unless it's catastrophic and these two wreck.
The only thing I could see,
also going to say that it's possible.
Well, yes, we obviously saw it at Daytona. But the only thing I can say, they get up here and battle. It slows Lauda down, Ix, and then battle, which is more than likely it's going to be on the last lap. And it slows them down. But like I said, though, his consistency, and I'll just point it out again, these guys slowing down 139.0, 138.8. But the problem is, like I said, Mick's still running 39.2s. You got a lap and a half to go, just about.
Yeah, he's consistently running a 39.2, but it's not enough. And I think Kimi and McRae might be battling as well. Yeah, they're right together.
They've pulled O'Connor tremendously. 11.4 the gap back to O'Connor now.
Yeah, and I would not have expected Kimi to be able to hold on as well as he did. I was thinking he was going to end up fighting for his life to hold on to 7th. That's not even the case. He's challenging for 6th at this point.
Because they're there. Just like I said, basically the last lap. It's actually... is this who I think it is up here? It is.
It is. Oh, my word. And they might catch him before they get to the end of the final lap.
So this just got interesting, folks.
Well.
So I think if you're Ix right now, you want him to get held up a little bit here, and you clear Ramsey getting into turn 1, so that way you don't have to deal with it. And you gotta hope that he catches SpongeBob at one of the worst times.
Well, you can see he's clearly being held up right now.
Under a second, come to the white flag.
Yeah, and it's not being held up quite as much, but this is where it's going to be huge. Because it's not looking like Lauda's going to be able to get around him, and you can just see under braking how much sooner.
SpongeBob.
Yep. So now they're going to both try to get around him going down this straightaway. But you can see Lauda's really having to battle hard to try to get there. I think he might even just tap the brakes there for a second.
Will Ix get aggressive and follow through?
Bolton's really being defensive for a lap car on the final lap, dealing with a battle. Is this? I don't think that's Ramsey Bolton in that car. That's Dean Wilson.
Yeah, I was say I think that's just sealed it, unless Ix can get clear here, and he's not.
Ooh, yeah, no, certainly. Wow, that's.
So yeah,
I'm surprised by that.
The only thing I can say is if he gets held up here, which he does.
And it's bad.
But Ix isn't
there. But Bolton's still in the way. Bolton's just like, I don't care.
Well, so I believe this will be 2 wins now for Lauda on the season.
Yes, he joins Kimi Räikkönen as a repeat winner. And Kevin Harvick.
It is true. But round number 4 here in Brazil. arguably, I would say an upset for the BMW teams, but Niki Lauda, win number 2 on the year, and as we presume, will be the new point leader heading to Imola.
Yeah, I got to say, I think he's definitely going to be the point leader out of this round.
And McRae try and hold on as coming to the line.
And he's going to be able to do it. There's not enough speed there from Kimmy.
Huh. 4 BMWs in the top 10. So Porsche better in the top 10, but as far as the race win is concerned,
yeah, it's once again BMW remaining the only series where one manufacturer is held on to the top spot. Clean sweep for one manufacturer, and it's BMW.
So we will go over the results and kind of give our final thoughts so we can somewhat prep for the truck race coming up here a little bit later. But again, as you mentioned, I mean, Mick did close a little bit there at last lap, down a 5.7, but like I said, even though you're running consistent, when they're running, half a second faster each lap, especially coming to the end, you just can't really have that happen. But Niki Lauda, second win of the season, wins at Daytona, goes kind of quiet as far as a win perspective. Raikkonen goes 2 in a row, but Lauda breaks the streak, taking home the win. His teammate Jackie Hicks second, Mick Schumacher third to round out the podium and lead the Porsche banner. Tanner Faust fourth, Ayrton Senna fifth, Colin McRae holds on to sixth. Kimi Räikkönen will lose the point lead as number 7 finishes 7th, so we believe he'll only fall to 2nd though.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, Tanner didn't even gain 15 points, so.
Okay, so there you go. So he only falls to 2nd. It'll still be tight, but O'Connor 8th. Takami Fujiwara, I believe his best finish of the year, in 9th, and Nick Boulay will be 10th.
Yeah, I do believe that is Takami's best finish. Yeah, he hasn't scored a point all season, so. James Hunt 11th. Juan Pablo Montoya came home 12th. Scott Dixon 13th. Alexander Rossi 14th. Voldemort 15th. Dario Franchitti in 16th. Oh man, Michael Schumacher in 17th. 18th is Darth Vader. 19th is Fernando Alonso, and 20th is George Russell.
Actually, not biasly saying this, but I think it's might be Schumacher and Alonso's best finish as well. Maybe not Schumacher because of the Daytona incident, but I believe.
Possibly. I'm not sure. They don't score points, so I don't know.
True. Ken Block 21st, Frosty 22nd, Lando 23rd, Verstappen 24th, Lewis Hamilton 25th, Colin Braun 26th, K-Mag 27th, first car won't let down, Ramsey Bolton 28th, Asgard Galderson 29th, Kevin Roy 30th.
31st is Mike Roch. 32nd is Hans Landa. 33rd is old Danny Rick. 34th is SpongeBob SquarePants. And 35th is Chad Reed. 36th, Jan Magnussen.
And again, interesting to note there that those two are our first DNFs in the GT4 series to date.
No.
Officially, I think.
No, because we had it happen at Watkins Glen.
Oh, we did?
With all the paper mache and Raditz wheels.
Oh, right. Okay.
We had like 8 cars at Watkins Glen.
That's true. You're right.
Not to mention, we did the GT4 Daytona race after the Cup. So I believe the first ever DNF was Jackie Hicks.
That's probably true, actually. So the track temp, just a note, too, as I just looked, it's 8:12 in sim. Track temp almost goes up 10 degrees. Jackie Hicks does get the quick time. Well, I say quick time, but the fastest lap bonus point as well with his 5:17. So Lauda losing out on the quote-unquote max points, but yeah, not a bad race. We had the 2 DNFs from the defensive lines, and like you said, we got hit to Imola, which I would argue right now not good for the Porsche clan.
Yeah, they got to get something figured out. I'm not sure if the JRC sim team is going to have a little development team that might help them out, but I think Porsche may be stepping in here soon and trying to field a development team, if you will, or just trying to field something to get them going in the right direction.
Yeah, they've been close. I think third, maybe second actually might have been the best finish, but no, it's BMW's had the edge. We thought today would have been, a different story, but track position's key, and obviously pit road always key, as you mentioned, I believe, before the first set of pit stops, and it showed. Lauda and Ick stayed out front. They drove away from Mick there at the end. I know in the beginning, the Porsches kind of held tough, held their ground, but once that pit stop came and kind of separated everybody, that was kind of all she wrote.
Absolutely. So,
but I know now we gotta head out, get on the old NORA private jet, head up to Atlanta for, I believe, round 4 of the Truck Series as well, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, yeah, with no Homestead.
So, looking back real quick at that, Cole Custer actually was your first-time winner at Kentucky, which, as we mentioned, the Roddy Burns incident.
Mm-hmm.
So Custer grabbed his first win there, and Mike Skinner held the point lead over Chase Elliott. Actually, he gained the point lead, and now leads Chase Elliott by 1.
No, he held it.
Oh, I never posted points, actually. I'm looking at race 2. Okay.
As I say, yeah,
My
he
bad.
held on to it.
But,
He actually gained points in that last race
but
because it's now an 8-point difference.
Well, but with that being said, though, we had the Hotlanta. I know you had said kind of.
It's going to be,
yeah.
from the tests I've done, it's going to be interesting.
So we hope.
So we hope.
But I know we got the doubleheader tonight. Like we said, GT4 obviously just finishing up with second time or repeat winner. Got the trucks tonight. Hopefully we'll see, I want to say a new winner, but I'd also like to see another repeat, kind of build some playoff points up, some stage wins, stuff like that. Tomorrow, I think the plan is Xfinity. And then I know I will be in the booth for our actual Cup race.
I will be with you as well.
Okay, so there we go. So another doubleheader for us tomorrow with Xfinity and then our actual Cup Series, which we'll touch on something, not really developing, but something that we're going to do as far as that's concerned in the Truck Series, since it's, oval side, oval stuff. So we'll talk about that later. And I believe right now the Thursday is the plan for the next Cup race as far as the sim stuff.
Yep. The next broadcasted Cup race. I think we can cover what happened with Kentucky during the truck race since it's more oval side. But yeah, it's we're just going to tell you the next time you see the Cup cars, it will be in Atlanta.
All right, well, that's all I got, buddy. If you got anything else to add, I think we're good to go.
No, I think we're good to go. Hopefully, we'll see some new faces the next time out at Imola. But other than that, I think we're all done here.
All right. So with that being said, we will sign off and start heading up to Hotlanta for the truck race. I'm Josh Conover, as always, my counterpart, Mr.
Nick Gallus.